Hello again, everybody. Welcome once more to Powerline with the Video Ministry. This is Richard Ike, and we're on episode number 139. And the title of today's message is The Female Champions of the Bible, Part 7. The Female Champions of the Bible, Part 7. Again, the control scripture is the same. Jeremiah 31:22. For the Lord has created a new thing on the earth. The woman shall compass a man. Now, it's a continuing on the story of Esther, doing a verse by verse study of the book of Esther. But before I get into that, I have an addendum, as is my tradition. And this is based on the activities of the political activities within the U.S. landscape specifically. My addendums usually surrounding politics, because others will reveal to me that Christians should be involved in politics. That's the kingly aspect of our faith. We're a nation of kings and priests. We understand the priestly aspect, but we never understood the kingly aspect. That's for politics. We're supposed to reign in the political arena where the rules and laws and legislations are made that govern the land. Now, what happened? The Democratic Party of nutcases, if you ask me, or they call them party of clowns, rightfully so. They've had their debates. They had two debates, and interesting. I didn't bother to watch the debate because I knew how it was gonna turn out, and it turned out worse than I anticipated. But watching the highlights and hearing something that somebody brought to my somebody mentioned that was critiquing the debate, it brought something to my attention. They said that the Democrats didn't mention anything about Black Americans or the Black community or Black issues. I've always said that Black Americans overrate their importance. Now their own party, the Democratic Party, which decades ago they betrayed the Republican Party to join. The Democrats who have been their enemy from day one. Now they are basically demonstrating that they don't want the Black American community any longer. They don't need them. Three of them spoke Spanish, opened their debate with Spanish. It was a subliminal message. They're saying that their allegiance is now with the Latino community. So no more special treatment for Black Americans. They're now focused on the Latino community. That's what they spoke Spanish. They all three of them spoke Spanish. As people will not understand this. It was planned. It was orchestrated. It's even scriptural. By the testimony of two or three witnesses, let everything be established. So by the testimony of three people who opened with Spanish, they're testifying. They're establishing the fact that they're now in alliance with the Latino community. That's what they are focusing on. 18% and growing, the Latino community. Black American population, 13% and shrinking. So basically said, okay, no longer interested in the blacks. They're now focusing attention on Latino. No mention of anything black or black situation or whatever. None of that was stable. And I was curious about that. I said, I wonder what triggered them. Maybe it's this whole reparation nonsense. The reason I say it's nonsense is because there seems to be no brain involved. If you want actual reparation, you ask for it from the person who did the offense. The Democratic Party, the Black Americans belong to. Reparation is not Republican business. Because Republicans were the abolitionists. They're the ones who set the slaves free. They're the ones who generationally fought for Black Americans up until they got the right to vote. And then the Democrats bribed them with the Caucasian breast milk, the government assisted programs like welfare and stuff like that. Now, the Democrats, they don't want it because Black Americans do consume resources and complain. So they don't want it any longer. I've been saying that Black Americans, they overrate their importance. Now, the Democratic Party, they belong to the Party of the Slave Masters. Prove me right. Yeah? Speaking Spanish, saying, hey, Spanish folks, we want you. Strange. Oh, actually, not strange for me. Be strange for others. I've been saying this. Hey, Black Americans overrate their importance. They don't build anything. They don't make anything. Like, why is all this noise? Just 30% of the population making 50% of the noise. That's all it is, noise. What benefit are you to the entire planet? The athletes, or good athletes, all the sports they play were created by their former slave masters. Not a single sport that they created of their own. What good music or the musical instrument they use are created by whites, former slave masters. Not a single instrument invented of their own. Brag about money. I look at the money. All the money has the face of their former slave masters. Or whites. Not a single one has their face on it. So you need them. They don't need you. Now they're showing it. They're demonstrating it. This is reparation thing that triggered them because it implicates the Democrats. I was hoping reparation, it implicates them. Because now, we have to go and pull out the history, the record, the archives and chronicles of the history of the American Empire. Find the list, there were 3 million slaves. Find out what plantations they belong to. Who owned the plantation? They were all Democrats. It implicates them. It brings out the darkness of their history which they're trying to hide, which they try to paint the Republicans as. Now the light will shine on them and they found out, now, oh, these folks, these were the original and only source of wickedness in the land. Historical source of wickedness. It shines light on the talk about reparation. They go and pull out the record books. The slave masters, the plantation owners, they were all Democrats. Was the Republicans, they were the abolitionists who fought to end their way of life. So the history books will be open. So, okay, there are 3 million slaves. So, these are the records of the slaves. These are their names. These are the plantation they belong to. These are the slave masters, the plantation owners. All of them registered as Democrat. Okay, you know what? We don't need them. Just turn our attention somewhere else. They don't have any track record of iniquity with the Latinos, so that they can shine as liberators there. I think that's what's happening. Because I know how these people think. Now, some people ask, why? Why? It's this simple. Human beings and the societies and the civilization that they build, they run on fundamental principles. This is humanity 101, the basics, ground zero of humanity. Problems and solutions. You're either on one side or the other. You're either a problem / part of a problem or a solution / part of a solution. If you're a problem / part of a problem, human beings will either deal with you or get rid of you. If you're a solution / part of a solution, human beings will keep you and will not be able to get enough of you. So where do you fall? Problem or solution? From the moment we are born to the day we die, we're dealing with problems and solution. A baby is born. It cries, problem. You comfort it, solution. It's covered in blood, problem. You clean it, solution. It's hungry, problem. You breastfeed it, solution. It wants to sleep, problem. You provide it a bed, solution. It's cold, problem. You cover it, solution. To the day we die, we're dead. They're mourning us, problem. You comfort the mourners, the ones who are mourning, solution. You need to be buried, problem. Dig a grave, solution. You can't just put your body in there, problem. Build a coffin, solution. From the day we are born to the day we die, problem and solution. So you find where you belong. Are you in the problem side, where humanity now doesn't want to get rid of you, or you're on the solution side, where humanity needs you and can't get enough of you? And with an advanced civilization like America, it carries with it advanced problem as well. So it needs problem solvers, not problem makers. So we have to choose, where do you fall into, problem or solution? That's the way human civilization works. So they get Black Americans have problems, okay, now what? Let's find someone who could be a solution. We don't need problems. That's too much problem with them. I think it's a reparation thing. That's what's turning off the Democrats. They're quietly running away. Is that the whole because they now have to shine light on the past. It invokes the past which they try to bury in the academic system. Because the record books are there. You now provide record books. Okay, there are 3 million slaves. Okay, who are their masters? All the Democrats. There's no Republican that owned a slave. Republicans are abolitionists. That's why the party was formed. Part of the reason the party was formed was to abolish slavery. So that's the whole thing's democratic business. So now, the Republican Party will welcome Black Americans, but no special treatment. No special treatment. The Republican Party, no. And if they don't like it, they can go back to their former masters, the Democrats. But even on that, no special treatment. The days of special treatment for Black Americans, that's gone. I said, it's gone now. So now, this is an official welcome into the human society, where if you now seek the greater collective good of all, and to be well with you. If not, you will forever wander in the abyss of obscurity. No more special treatment. They've made it clear, but I knew what was happening. 3 of them opened speaking Spanish. I said, this is a declaration that the allegiance now is to the Spanish. They now give the special treatment to the Latinos. They're now the special group people. And they will aid them in multiplying. I said, part of social engineering. People don't understand that. So I said, like I said, what I said has come to pass. They Black Americans overrate their importance. Now what's happening? Party, not even interested. Want Latinos. That's over. I'm getting to the message. This was a short addendum. Now continuing from where I left off in the last message. I ended up in my glasses. I need new glasses, by the way. I ended in chapter 5 when Esther, she and the Jews and Persia had done the 3 days fasting, and she went to the presence of the king, and right away the king responded. But Esther wasn't ready. She said, oh, come to the feast. I prepare for you and Haman. They came. She still wasn't ready. Come to the feast tomorrow. In the meantime, because of that, there's now room for some other extra activities to start taking place. With that 1 day gap, the enemy went to work quickly. The devil sees opportunity. How did it happen? It went like this. Let's start from chapter 5 verse 7. Then answered Esther and said, my petition and my request is, if I found favor in the sight of the king, if it please the king to grant my petition and to perform the request, let the king and Haman come to the banquet that I shall prepare for them, and I will do tomorrow as the king has said. This is the banquet, the first banquet, which was preliminary, and the main event was going to be the next banquet. She couldn't get herself together to make her request that day, so she asked for another banquet the next day. Then it went like this, from verse 9. Then when Haman fought that day, joyful and with a glad heart. But when Haman saw Mordecai in the king's gate, and he stood up not, nor moved for him, he was full of indignation against Mordecai. He was rejoicing, happy. As soon as he saw Mordecai, his music stopped, as if his soundtrack was playing. The Haman soundtrack. He's rejoicing. Hey, but the man, only me and the king. Hi, how great I am. His orchestra was behind it. He's rejoicing. Hi, everybody's shouting, Haman. As when they go to Mordecai, the music just slow down to a scream. Mordecai just sitting there looking at him and looking at Mordecai. Said, this is why I will not rise from his bed. Hey, he couldn't hear his music any longer. Oh, this man just ruined his day. He could no longer hear the music playing in the background. So this guy, this man. Haman was messed up. He could not enjoy his day any longer. Mordecai just stole what they call stealing thunder. Mordecai stole his thunder, took it out of the sky, put it in a bottle, and put it stuffed in his coat. Mordecai stole his thunder. Nevertheless, Haman refrained himself. He was self-controlled. Before he wanted to get mad, like, why don't you ask me? Just breathe. Okay. Nevertheless, Haman refrained himself. And when he came home, he sent and called for his friends and Zeresh, his wife. He needed comfort. He needed people to come and pat him on the shoulder and let him know that everything will be all right. For his wife and his friends. And Haman told them of the glory of his riches and the multitude of his children and all the things wherein the king had promoted him. And he advanced him above the princes and servants of the king. Haman said, moreover, yea, Esther the queen did not let let no man come in with the king unto the banquet that she had prepared for myself, and tomorrow am I invited unto her also with the king. Yet all this availeth me nothing. So long as I see Mordecai the Jew sitting at the king's gate. I have met the Haman in my life. Haman is a case study for selfish ambition and the consequences thereof. Because Haman was a man filled with selfish ambition. You want to understand selfish ambition and the consequences at the end of the road, study Haman. But I've encountered Haman, that demon preacher, that black American beast, that pulpit monkey, Bishop, I call him Child, Bishop Charles Evil, Bishop Child, because it's childish, it feels like a child, when always looking out, mischief, trying to get emotional response. That's children, that's how children behave. Amen, and children. That's a Haman that I encountered. And if use a Haman, even use a Haman line. I remember when I went for a night service, I mean, when people say they're men of God, I want to hear what they're saying so I can go and study. People just want to, like American, which I can't say about Caucasians, like American congregation, they just go for entertainment. I went to, when I go to white churches, I see them writing that the preacher will sound like he's giving a lecture. People are writing stuff down. I say this one feels like classroom, it doesn't feel like church. And so I say these ones, they are really absorbing, they are studying and they are absorbing because they are writing stuff down. When people write stuff down, they tend to go and read over their notes, especially Caucasians. They're very studious people, intellectual, left brain, intellectual. Blacks, right brain, emotion. So again to the hype. Me, when the hype starts, that's when church is over for me. I leave. Everyone else is waiting for the message to finish and they get to the hype at the end. Me, I receive the message at the beginning, hype at the end, I walk out. So the church is over. Because I discovered that's all manufactured. I discovered it by accident. And the whole hype, they know how to emotionally manipulate. Manipulation. So when it gets to that point, I leave. I'm out. I'm done. I just get the message and go and study, cross-reference with scripture. It's a strategy. I was thinking it was the Spirit of God moving at the end. But when you've been around the real thing, you can decipher the difference. Because after service, I woke out and all of a sudden I'm back to normal. I said, hey, what happened? I was feeling all charged up on the inside. Now I'm back to normal. But when it's the Spirit of God, it lingers, the effect lingers. Either all day or linger throughout the week. You might even carry the effect to the next service and add on to that one. Sometimes it's permanent where it changes you, transforms you. So now you're now going in a whole new direction because of how impacted you are by it. But I was accustomed to the real one. And I was being discipled by my old pastor. It evoked the real presence and it lingered. But this one, go to service, get all hyped up. As soon as I step out of church, the effect is gone back. I was like, what happened? Back then, I didn't know it was emotional manipulation. But I saw the strategy. It's like when you plug an iron, it doesn't get hot at once. It builds up. So they slowly build you up till you reach that emotional zenith and then get you all hyped up and all that stuff. So when I saw the strategy, a tactic known is a tactic blown. So when I saw the strategy, it didn't work any longer. One time, some Nigerian pastor came. He had the big service, nice service, the big church. And he was invoking the real presence. He kept heavyweight message and invoked the presence. Everybody was hyped up. And this useless idiot, Blake, while he was charging the crowd, he went and grabbed the microphone from him and started doing his own charge too. He went from the real to the fake. It was like unplugging, just disconnected from heaven. People couldn't tell the difference. I could. So I stood there watching him. So why did he do that? He saw me. I saw him look eye to eye. I said, why? It was just, I just stand there watching him. I said, why did he do that? Was it of necessity? Why? Couldn't he let the man complete the cycle of the ministration? He had to jump in because it was his church. Took him like, for what? He disconnected and I had lost the whole vibe and just upset me. Just ruined the whole vibe. Went from the real to the fake. Or what? Maybe he wanted to collect offering. Because the way they do it, they help you emotionally, then ask for money. Oh, God said give $300. Because when you're normal, you won't. But when you emotionally happy of emotion, the left brain has taken over the right brain has taken over the left brain, emotion over power logic. So you get all happy to say, hey, God said give $300, and you pull out $300, and later on you say, hey, why did I do that? Maybe that's why. I don't know. But I was going somewhere. I went to that night service, and he was joyous with the crowd, cracking jokes, and people were laughing and all that stuff. And I noticed as soon as I came in, I sat, the front, close to the front, his mood kind of changed, and the whole rhythm kind of changed. And then the man blurted out. Say sometimes you can be having fun, and you just see one person, and that person ruins your whole day or ruins the whole fun, something like that, something of that nature. I said, I'm the only person that walked in. So is he trying to say that he was having a good time until I showed up? So I said, So now here's Haman and I'm Mordecai. So he will think of all the glory he has received, all the 66 million cathedral that they bought 60 million to build this cathedral, and the honor was given by the governor and blah 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 and all that stuff, all that stuff. But then when he sees Richard Ike, all that is nothing to him as long as he sees Richard Ike, because Richard Ike doesn't bow to anybody. That's it. If your name is not Jehovah God Almighty or His Son Jesus Christ, if you don't walk on water, if you do not fly in the air, if you have not resurrected yourself from the dead, I'm not bowing to you. No, man, that's just my nature. You either live with it or deal with it. That's it. I am a complete Mordecai. That's it. And he was Haman. So that's why I said, so me, I even consider, say, upon all his glory, he will let one person disturb him. That's because that's a man of selfish ambition. That's the nature of selfish ambition. Once you are getting gotten accustomed to receiving worship, you can receive worship from a million people. The one person that doesn't worship you, that one will ruin all these millions that are worshiping you. Just that one person. I've seen from experience. I was a Mordecai, he was a Haman. Now let me continue. Let's go deeper. Let's swim deeper into this. And he said, yet all this availed me nothing, so long as I see Mordecai, the Jew, sitting at the king's gates. It was not enough for him that they had already plotted the death of the king of the Jews. But Mordecai was such a disturbance. He said, let him go beyond the plot. Because on the account of Mordecai not bowing to him, he wanted to kill not just Mordecai, but Mordecai's people, which was the spirit of vengeance, ancestral spirit of vengeance, because it was a descendant of King Agag, of the king of the Amalekites, whom was king of the Amalekites when Saul came to wipe out the Amalekites. And Mordecai was also a descendant of the family of King Saul. So this was an ancient spirit of vengeance. But now, as a result of his selfish ambition, he did not have the patience to wait on his plan to execute Mordecai and the Jews. He knew Mordecai was going to die, but he could not wait. The disrespect of what kind of worshiping was too much. I can't wait. Then said Zeresh, his wife, and all his friends unto him. Now considering the disrespect getting from this Mordecai, ordinary Jewish guy that sits at the gate. They are about to deliver a bombshell. And said Zeresh, his wife, and all his friends unto him, let a gallows be made of 50 cubits, and tomorrow speak thou unto the king that Mordecai may be hanged thereon. Then go thou in merrily with the king unto the banquet. And the thing pleased Haman, and it caused the gallows to be made. So go and deal with this business before you go into the banquet, because he might not enjoy the banquet, knowing that Mordecai still doesn't bow to him. He'll be in the banquet, still carrying Mordecai in the mind. He's sitting there with the queen and the king. And I said, what's the matter? Nothing, but they still think, this guy doesn't respect me. God, I'm sitting with the king, I'm sitting with the queen, but this guy at the gate doesn't respect me. Mordecai's issue was so heavy that the balance shifted for him. All the glory, all the honor he has received. One man, Mordecai, made the balance to shift like this. Mordecai was shifting his balance, so he wanted to remove Mordecai from the scales. by getting rid of him. And if he hung Mordecai, he removed Mordecai from this case. So now the balance will shift in his favor. Now he can have peace of mind and enjoy the presence of the king and his and all that stuff. But Mordecai was so happy, shifted the balance for him. So that's probably how that useless monkey, that so-called Bishop Charlie Blake, feels about me. I know you're tapping into this message. Useless idiot Blake. You're a childish joke. Haman. Your Haman's portion is your portion too. Destruction. Useless, bastardized ape. This even all these people think that you're not even leading them to heaven. You don't even talk about heaven. No, you make them focus on earth here, materialistic things. God will give you car, house, and or the banana apple Christianity. That's what I call it. No sacrifice. Car, house, spouse. That's it. Then said Zeresh's wife and all his friends unto him, let a gallows be made of 50 cubits. 50 cubits high, and tomorrow speak down to the king that Mordecai may be hanged. The king is now his homeboy. Speak to him that Mordecai may be hanged thereon. Then go thou merrily with the king unto the banquet. And the thing pleased him, and he rejoiced. Finally, he got to know. He was happy. He rejoiced. And he caused the gallows to be made. And said, now he's back to himself. The gallows. Now I'll speak to the king, give him permission to hang that guy. Then this weight to be off my shoulder. And then I can enjoy the banquet. And then chapter 6 begins this way. On that night, see what happens, how the devils begin to scheme when we delay. Because Esther had delayed responding to the Lord answering the prayer. The devil now had chance to now begin to orchestrate because he knew something was up. That the king will make such a request. But I told you, even up to have to the kingdom. This one is overload. So I have to act quickly. Satan's acting behind this thing, acting quickly. Because the request came out of nowhere. This king Ahasuerus was so generous. We'll find out later. On that night, could not the king sleep? And he commanded to bring the book of the records of the Chronicles. And they were read before the king. And it was found written that Mordecai had told of Bigthana and Teresh, two of the king's chamberlains, the keepers of the door, who sought to lay hands on the king Ahasuerus. And the king said, what honor and dignity had been done to Mordecai for this? Then said the king's servants and ministered unto him, and there is nothing done for him. What is happening here? Let me digress. Usually, when there's a serious matter at hand, Lord will give the king a dream. We saw that with Pharaoh, and we saw that with Nebuchadnezzar. And with God, with the dream that God gives, He uses allegories, symbolism, metaphors, illustrations. That's how God communicates. Dreams and vision using symbolism and allegories and all sorts of things of that nature. They require interpretation. So that with Pharaoh, God gave him Pharaoh dream in symbols, and there was a Joseph to interpret. And Babylon, God gave Nebuchadnezzar dreams and symbols, and there was a Daniel to interpret. But because this was an emergency, God didn't have time to give the man a dream. Because usually he will give a dream that will be subject to interpretation, but this was an emergency. So instead, God took sleep from the man. So there's no time to give him dream. Because if we give him dream now, he now have to hunt for an interpreter. And by the time he receive an interpreter, Haman have come and ask for permission to go and kill Mordecai, and then you can get the permission and you can hang Mordecai. Then by the time an interpreter arrives to interpret the dream, they find out, oh, it's about Mordecai. Where's Mordecai? You gave him a permission to hang it. Walk the man. The dream was about the man. Oh, I didn't know. And so say, rather than dealing with this situation, then just take sleep for the man and put something on his heart. The record books. That's it. Bible says the heart of the king is in the hands of the Lord, and he directs it like a watercourse wheresoever he pleases. So he took sleep from the man and directed the man's heart to where he pleased the record books. Why? Because God had stored something in the record books. God is now using the wisdom he gave the squirrel and deploying it. What's that wisdom? The squirrel, I found out, buries its food for winter time. And it remembers the mystery that it remembers 95% of where it buries its food, like the acorns and stuff like that. It remembers 95% of where it buried it. So when winter time comes and the tree is dried up and dead and slows on the ground, it will go outside and dig up the food that it had buried. So when Mordecai previously had revealed the plot of the king's guard to kill the king, and the king did a certain found out it was through Esther that they made the discovery. Mordecai passed on to Esther, Esther passed on to the king, and made the discovery and executed those two guards. The king did not remember Mordecai. Why? He was too blinded by Esther. He says, oh, it was Mordecai that revealed it. It was just completely consumed by Esther saying, Mordecai, come, my beautiful queen. He wasn't paying attention. So now, Lord used that as a deposit, like the squirrel planting seed, planting its, hiding its food in the ground. That's what God did with that action. It's like, use this, the wisdom he gave the squirrel. He planted the acorn in the ground. So now this was winter time. Now God was going to withdraw from what he had planted inside the record books. That's the ground. And the action of Mordecai was that acorn that the squirrel had planted. So now God was going to withdraw from it. It was an emergency strategy. To me, it wasn't supposed to happen. Because Esther, if she had the boldness that we require in order to work with this God, the moment the king made the request, she would have told the king, and then it would have been done. But because of human nature, that's our fallen nature, pray, God, and God suddenly answers. Start to shake. We can't grasp. Our mind can't grasp the fact that God has answered the prayer. It has happened to me a few times. God has answered prayer. I couldn't handle it until the opportunity left. So I could identify with Esther. I said, it takes boldness to work with this God. Praying for something, God answered, and all of a sudden I wasn't prepared for the answer until the opportunity. 3 times. The man made the request 3 times to Esther. 3 times until finally the opportunity left. I couldn't believe it. That's when it hit me. God answered the prayer. I wasn't ready. God could do stuff like that. And you're not suddenly he comes, boom. When you are praying on the day of Pentecost, what the Bible say? Suddenly, there was a sound of a mighty rushing wind. Suddenly, they make an announcement. It didn't say on such and such day. It just showed up suddenly. And they were overwhelmed. And they appeared a tongue of fire that divided and rested upon their heads. They were trembling. Suddenly they started speaking different tongues. They were not prepared. It takes boldness to work with this God. I'm reading the scriptures. If it's the same God I'm serving, it requires boldness to work with him. That's why I told Joshua, be strong and of good courage. If you had seen what Joshua saw, you would have been trembling too. I'm continuing. So, and the king said, what honor and dignity had been done to Mordecai for this? As the king's servant, the ministered unto him, there is nothing done for him. And the king said, who is in the court? This is a divine setup. I was under the pressure that the devil sets things up. Devil land. The devil is a copycat. Doesn't originate, imitates. It was God as the master of setups. This was the divine setup right here. And the king said, who is in the court? Now Haman was come into the outer court of the king's house to speak unto the king to hang Mordecai on the gallows that he had prepared for him. If God gave the king a dream, the king would have been busy looking for an interpreter by the time Haman arrived to come ask for permission to hang Mordecai. So while he's busy looking for an interpreter, combing the land to find someone who can interpret, and with the dreams of God, the Magi's, the wise men of foreign lands, they cannot interpret. Only those that belong to him. He had to come from the Jewish folks, the Jewish And when it is to interpret the dream given by a Jewish God, it requires Jewish people. Maybe the person who could have interpreted it might have been Mordecai, the one who was going to be hung. So by the time they discovered that, oh no, this is a dream by the Jewish God, so we need Jewish people, someone Jewish to interpret. By the time the interpretation comes, Mordecai is hanging on the gallows. So say, no time for that one. Let's just take sleep from the man. What will the source of him losing sleep? It will be the book of the Chronicles. God put that on his heart. Say, okay, let me deal with this Chronicles because I'm not able to sleep because of this book of Chronicles. Bring it, read it. No, this thing just on my mind. And make the discovery. So that's what's keeping me awake. We haven't solved this man's problem because we don't want him. It's a problem. It might even make me look bad among his own people. It might make me look unjust. So let's deal with that issue. God took the emergency route. And this is what the emergency is. The moment he asked who is in the courtyard, it was Haman. Coming to take permission to kill the person who the king was planning to reward. And the king didn't know. Haman was about to dig his own trap. And this is how God operates. He uses the enemy's own weapons against them. And the king said, who's in the court now? Haman was come into the outward court of the king's house to speak unto the king to hang Mordecai on the gallows that he had prepared for him. How much time do I have left? Okay. And the king's servant said unto him, behold, Haman standeth in the court. And the king said, let him come in. So Haman came in, and the king said unto him, what shall be done unto the man whom the king delighted to honor? Now Haman thought in his heart, to whom would the king delight to do honor more than to myself? We're now about to discover the true heart of Haman. He thought, oh, who would the king want to honor except myself? And this is what Haman said. And Haman answered the king, for the man whom the king delighted to honor, let the royal apparel be brought, which the king used to wear, and the horse that the king rideth upon, and the crown royal which is set upon his head. And let this apparel and the horse be delivered to the hand of one of the king's most noble princes, that they may array the man with all whom the king delighted to honor, and bring him on horseback through the streets of the city, and proclaim before him, thus shall it be done to the man whom the king delighted to honor. Haman asked for all the king's stuff, which means Haman actually wanted to be the king. He wanted the king's place, he wanted the king's position. That's why he made this request, because they thought it was about him. So bring the robe the king has worn, and the crown the king has worn. Let him ride the horse the king has ridden, and let his most noble man ride him around and proclaim, this is what we done to the man whom the king died. And I say, this is selfish ambition putting himself on display. He dug a trap for himself because of what was about to happen next. And the king said to Haman, make haste and take the apparel and the horse, and as thou hast said, and do even so to Mordecai the Jew that sitteth at the king's gate. Let nothing fail of all that thou hast spoken. If there was ever a time in Haman's life that he came close to or actually caught heart attack, it was right there. But he couldn't show it to the king. He turned into every step as he was walking to Mordecai, every step would have felt like walking on glass. He said, who? Mordecai. His heart just stopped. The man, he came to get permission to kill. Now you see what kind of emergency it was. And why God had to take speak from the king. Because the situation was an emergency. Now Haman, because if he doesn't obey the king might flip on him. And then now he gets executed because he disobeyed the king. So the king was a feared man. Life and death was in his hand. Then took Haman the apparel and the horse, and arrayed Mordecai, and brought him on horseback through the streets of the city, and proclaimed before him, thus shall it be done unto the man whom the king delighted to honor. And Mordecai came again to the king's gate, but Haman hasted to his house, mourning, and having his head covered. And Haman told Zeresh his wife, and all his friends, everything that had befallen him. Then said his wise men and Zeresh, his wife, unto him, if Mordecai be of the seed of the Jews, before whom thou hast begun to fall, thou shalt not prevail against him, but shalt surely fall before him. And while they were yet talking with him, came the king's chamberlains and hasted to bring Haman unto the banquet, and Esther had prepared. I believe, I have a little bit of time. Let me just do this quick breakdown, and then I finish. About a minute or two. Haman, mesmerized, took Mordecai for a ride. Mordecai, sitting on his back, of course he would have been mesmerized. The Bible doesn't say, but we know just based on human nature alone, he would have been mesmerized. Say, this Haman is, put a robe on me, crown and everything, and give me a ride. Mordecai thinking, what the heck is going on? And after I had given the ride, dropped him off, said, thank you, Mordecai, took off everything, went back and sat at the gate. Now, didn't respond. Why? Because what was on his mind is the destruction of his people. So that was just some weird experience that he had. He didn't have time to process. He's thinking of how he can deliver his people. But that was a prelude of coming attraction, like a preview. Before we see a movie, we watch the preview on TV. So that was a preview of what was going to happen. That was a preview of Mordecai's future. He was indeed going to wear that crown and the royal robe, which is what will happen at the ending. So how did this happen? It was by the attack of his enemy that God now brought about the promotion of Mordecai and his people. So the attack of our enemies, God uses it as propellant. Before a ball can go up, it has to go down, strike the ground. Before a catapult can launch a projectile, it had to be pulled backward. So Haman was the catapult being pulled backward to launch Mordecai and Esther and the Jews into a glorious destiny. So that's why the Apostle Paul said, all things work together for good to them that love God and are called according to his purpose. I was giving credence to what Joseph has said concerning his brothers. You meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. And may it be so with us. All of the attacks of the enemy, what God uses as catapult to propel us forward. You pull it backwards, then he launches the projectile forward. The farther back you pull it, the more forward it goes. With that, I conclude my message. Now, send a closing prayer. Oh, great God, Almighty King Jehovah, thank you for the message that has gone for this day. And as always, I ask that let it be a seed planted in good soil, and let it bring forth fruit, and let the fruit remain. In the mighty name of Jesus Christ, I pray. And as the heavens agree, I say, Amen. O King, live forever. I love you. Lord Jesus loves you. I'll see you next week.